All right, welcome back. I'm Craig Ford, Mayor of Gadsden. I'm here with John Moore. John's joined the mayor's staff. He came from Spectrum Reach. And John, we're glad to have you on board.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on board. It's been a fun 4 weeks so far. So
Yeah.
we've been running pretty hard.
So John said before we went live, he said, "Can we practice this?" So I wanted to make sure everybody heard that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, but John and I've known each other a while. He's probably my best friend. He came from Spectrum. He's married to a lady named Kelly Moore, and I'll let him tell a little bit more about his family. But John brings a lot of experience to the mayor's office as far as in strategy, logistics, communication, sales, industrial development. So it's just good to have him on board, and we're lucky to have him. So, John, what we talked about earlier, how we're doing the mayor's office. There's 24 departments in the city of Gadsden. We're dividing the departments with the mayor's staff. And John, tell us about your departments, who you have under you.
So probably the most exciting department that I have is probably the Parks and Rec department. That's the fun department because it really a lot of the departments cost the city money, but in reality, the Parks and Rec actually makes the city money if we run it right. So Jen Wethington, she does a great job with the Parks and Rec. Christina, who runs the fall, she does a fabulous job with that. Darrell, who's over the over the fields, he does a fabulous job. So all in all, Parks and Rec is probably my baby when it comes to all of our departments. I'm over the building department, which is...
So that's no fun.
No, that's a lot of fun. I don't know, building's pretty fun sometimes.
We're in this old building.
Yeah, there is no doubt. So Brian does a great job in our building department. Nick's in our planning. He does a fabulous job trying to make sure we keep up with all of our zoning laws. I've carry over with the court system. I've got fleet management with Kathy Jackson. She's a Hokes Bluff girl. Shout out to all of my Hokes Bluff folks.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else am I carrying? I'm missing something, I'm sure.
You're over Commercial Development Authority.
That's right. Over the Commercial Development Authority, DGI with Kay Moore. And then also Chamberlain and Michael, who do our public relations and our...
Who's filming this?
Yeah, who's actually filming this and do a fabulous job. And so far, I don't think they've taken a break since we've actually come on board. So thank you guys for all you do. So that's kind of the departments that we oversee. It's like I said, it's been a full-legged sprint for 4 weeks so far. Just trying to figure out where everything is, trying to figure out where the bathrooms are. So we're doing a great job getting it back together. So
tell us about your family. You live in Gadsden now. You're from Hokes Bluff.
That's
tell us
right.
about your mom and dad.
Yeah. So my mom and dad, they still live out in Hokes Bluff, out there behind the old Gregerson warehouse on Cadell Circle.
On some family land.
On some family land. That's right. I think we're the 5th generation of relatives that actually have owned that piece of property. So grew up out there. I've got my wife, Kelly. She's from Sand Mountain, from Gunnersville. I've got a daughter, Morgan, and her husband, Parker. They live in Tillerson Bend. And then Peyton, he's getting married in June of next year to a girl, Destiny Stimson. So, we're pretty excited about that. As far as work goes, I've been at Spectrum Reach for 20 years, overseeing the sales side of pretty much north and central Alabama, overseeing the offices and kind of running the systems there. I was actually over several sales teams, and those guys have always done a great job, and I was actually blessed to have a great staff that I've worked with during that time. So it's pretty tough.
John was also a part of a group called CARES organization in
right.
Gadsden. And he was I don't know if he's the president, chairman, or what is it, but John ran CARES group.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about CARES and what they do.
So Etowah CARES is actually, the acronym is for CARES is the Community Alliance for Revitalization, Economic Development in Schools. That's right. And so I was fortunate to be the president this year, and we did a couple of things called the Naked Pig Triathlon. It was sort of a relay race that we did back in August. And we were actually able to raise, I think it was close to $7,500 for the Etowah Sheriff's Reserves. We also do the Santa Sprint that opens up the Gadsden Christmas Parade, but unfortunately when it canceled back last Saturday, we had to just kind of do away with the whole Santa Sprint. So,
and since we rescheduled the parade, logistically we couldn't reschedule the
nobody
marathon.
wants a bunch of runners running around 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Nobody wants them running at night.
Yeah, I think Lamar, the police would shoot us if we tried doing that.
Yeah, so, but John and I like to have a lot of fun. Just to tell y'all something, We play rook with our wives at least one night a week,
Yes.
and so far we hadn't lost yet.
That's right.
They hadn't figured out
We're
how we
still the
win all the
champions.
time, so we're champions all the time. But John, I'll tell you this about John, and I don't know if he didn't give me permission, but John
Here we go.
left his job that makes a lot more money to come here to work for the city.
Yeah.
And I asked him why he wanted to do that, and he said because I'm tired of going to work every day.
That's exactly right.
And so he loves Gadsden. He wants to do something, make a difference and impact on the city. So
Yeah, no doubt.
we're lucky to have you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You know, I kind of somebody asked me one day same question about leaving a career of 20 years at a large corporation, and that was because of the vision that you kind of shared on how you want to drive the city of Gadsden back to where it was years and years ago. And so I've bought into that and the momentum and the excitement, and it's one of those deals on Sunday nights. You're not dreaded to come to work. You're excited about coming to work, and you're excited about the things that we're going to be able to do every day. You know, I enjoy working with the council. We got a great group of council members that I kind of feel like they've kind of turned into being our family. So being able to work with those guys on a daily basis has been a really big blessing for us.
Yeah. So if you think I'm high speed, John's high speed too. So we run 99 miles an hour. But
That's right.
But John, if there's one thing that people didn't know about you that they need to know, that maybe you did something in high school, like were you in the band, were you play sports, or?
No, so actually I was on the Hokes Bluff City Council for about 12 years out there, and I'll go ahead and say it before you do. I was probably the only city council member to ever serve on a city council and live outside the county in which that city lived for about 3.5 years at that time. But the mayor and I had talked about it, and he asked me if I would stay on, and I had felt like I had done a pretty good job with the city of Hokes Bluff. So they asked me to stay on, and I did, and the people of Hokes Bluff blessed me to let me stay on and do what I enjoy doing, and that is trying to make a difference in your city that you live in. And I challenge everybody who's out there listening today, if you ever have a chance and you ever get an opportunity, make a difference in your community, because I promise you it'll be the most reward you'll ever get.
So John started City Fest in Hokes Bluff.
That's right.
Which still goes on today.
That's
and
right. Probably the biggest event in Etowah County.
It is, and when I was a legislator, he used to pry me for every dime we had. So, but it was a big economic impact to Hokes Bluff, and
Yeah.
it still goes on today. And I think you still help with
Yep,
it.
I do. Still kind of.
And Mayor Scott Reeves, who's a friend of mine and a cousin of mine, is a friend of John's. But he still calls John, I think, once or twice a day. I
At
know.
least, that's right.
But you can tell by John's build, he was an athlete too. I was kidding with him earlier, but he was an athlete at Hokes Bluff.
I
And
knew where he was going.
so his son and Peyton.
That's right.
Peyton was a lot better athlete than John.
Yeah, there's
so,
no doubt.
Yeah. So John, thanks for coming.
Yeah,
We look
appreciate
forward to
you
working
guys.
together. And John,
I'm excited to get going.
John said we got to hurry with the interviews. Got to go back to work.
That's
So
right. That's
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.